You and I were talking before the show about jobs and how that is a major concern with some of the people in the community, but it's also a lot of what we're hearing from the mayoral candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions for Bill concerning jobs in this area and how he can promote the jobs?
Yeah, actually, I noticed, I got to watch the video of the recent luncheon. I noticed everybody says jobs, but you specifically mentioned manufacturing.
Yes.
I was just wondering what brought you to say specifically manufacturing?
That's a good question. Manufacturing creates secondary jobs. In other words, if you bring in a retail store that is selling products from other retail stores in Modesto, you're not necessarily going to have the added jobs. You may just be stealing from a other retail outlet. In other words, the growth of money and jobs may be nothing at all, and in fact could be negative. Manufacturing spins a secondary job market out of it. Some manufacturing spin out multiples, 3, 4, 5 jobs from the one manufacturing job. That comes from suppliers and the labor pools of those suppliers, as well as transportation. If there's transportation coming in, it's locally, you're going to use local people delivering. And so manufacturing is key to creating the kind of business that we need in Modesto. Modesto is largely an agricultural economy, but with only it, if you look at our unemployment rate, we're running close to 20%, although the newspaper will say it's 16.9, 16.8. That's not counting those that have stopped looking in the last 12 months. So if you've not been looking, or if you've been looking for a job for over 12 months, they don't include you anymore. So the number is actually larger. I use 20 because it's easy to relate to. Modesto is typically double the unemployment rate of the state. And now this particular correction, we're a little less than that, but still quite high, even at the state level. Because we're relying on one industry as our primary source of employment, if we diversify ourselves and have other industries that are manufacturing based, particularly those that are related and using agricultural products, then you even have now the raw resources coming into it, and the manufacturing is being utilized, and it's local. You have multiple job multipliers out of it. And that's the reason I say manufacturing. It's key.
Now, we were talking about you being a builder, and sometimes when I hear that said, even not from the Modesto Bee, people are like, oh, but our downtown sign, Water, Wealth, Contentment, Health,
right,
was built by a builder, and every building that we see and every structure that we see had to start somewhere, and somebody had to build it. Our roads, our houses, everything. And speaking of the sign, the Water, Wealth, Contentment, Health,
mm-hmm.
Your wife, Kathy, is a health advocate.
She is, yes.
Yeah, and sometimes we forget when we look at the mayoral candidates that it's a package deal. It's
mm-hmm.
not just we're voting for the person running for office. We're voting for the whole package. Tell me why Kathy is your hero. I've heard you speak about her many times in high regard.
She is very important to me. We've been married 36 years, and she is my source of inspiration and a source of strength. She is a cancer survivor. When we talk about health, she took the adversity of cancer. And after she has a whole story. You'll have to.
I'd like to have her on. If she would grant us an interview, that would be wonderful.
I can talk to her about that.
That would be great.
Especially since she's sitting here.
Yeah. Come on over. We'll have you back next time.
Yeah.
That would be great, because I would really like for the public to see that you are a strong unit. It's not just the one man that we're voting into office. It would be a whole package. And like I said in the introduction, again, you are the epitome of a real man, because you've dedicated your life to your family, to your wife, to your job. And it's just amazing, just amazing.
Those are very kind words. And back to Kathy, without her strength and her support, I could not do this. That would be an impossible thing. And whether the whole I've kind of skipped over this. I want to emphasize again. She took cancer, and after going through a time of depression, turned it into fitness, and now she is a medal-winning national athlete in bodybuilding.
She's pretty buffed.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she could take me on a good day. She could take me. Well, along with the strong people that we have in our lives and in our community, we do have some weaknesses too. And one of those weaknesses that have come along here in the city of Modesto is the Stanislaus Community Assistance Project, which is known as SCAP, and we've heard a lot about it in the Modesto Bee lately.
Yes.
What is your take on all of that?
Well, I know there's an investigation. It's been in the newspaper that's going on, and so that is so critical to digging down and find out what happened and when it happened and get the truth out. So what we're dealing with right now is understanding the information that we have seen. The challenge is not all nonprofits have that kind of struggle. There are many
Yeah.
good nonprofits.
It's
out there.
really hard not to come away without a bad taste in your mouth. But
Yes.
you were saying that there's a lot of nonprofits that are really
yes.
doing.
Yes, there's so many that are doing such good work. They're working with a minimum amount of dollars and utilizing volunteers to help people, not only feeding them and clothing them and housing them, and doing so much with so little. That's one thing about Modesto. It does have a good spirit of giving within itself. This particular nonprofit, what I've read, the problems of allowing family members in some of their rentals and employees, that's just so unusual. That is not the norm. And
So they're the exception.
they
to
are
the
the
rule.
exception, not the rule. The program, there's an opportunity now to look at how the program was utilized and perhaps take a look at the remaining dollars that the city has received from NSP, Neighborhood
The stabilization, yeah.
Stabilization Program. There's a good opportunity to reassess that and make sure the dollars gets to where it needs to go. And
Maybe
that's
use
buying
SCAP as a learning tool?
Well, yes, and short of that,
Expensive.
let the investigation go on. If there has been criminality, of course it'll go to court, and they'll deal with it. Let the courts deal with it at that
Kind of
point.
let nature take its course.
Let the process occur.
Right.
I've weighed in on to how I would have liked to have seen the program run, utilizing. I'm not afraid to utilize our citizens. I think we have some very smart people in our city. We just have to access them and bring them into the program. So there are other builders that could have weighed in on how to design the program. I weighed in suggesting that not only whoever utilize the funds, that they put in matching dollars. That way to ensure the city gets their dollars out
Right.
before anybody else does.
Right.
And keep the program designed for resale, quick resale, as opposed to long-term rental income. And if it's going to be a rental property, refinance, get the money back to the city to use again for other properties.